Welcome back into another episode of Top Shelf, presented by Enterprise. Big trips, sudden detours, or last-minute plans, whatever it is, we are here for it. Episode 4, Levi Smith, joined by Kyle Cushman, John Matisz, Aidan Thakkar. Really exciting time in sports right now, not just hockey, but everything except for us.
Just had the sports equinox, right?
Sports equinox, we only get one a year, and we got that yesterday. Unfortunately, it only had 2 hockey games, but I think the 1,000 innings of baseball probably made up for that. Anyways, we don't need to get into the Jays today. We've done this already. A lot of us are tired.
Yes.
I'll put it at that. But super exciting day now for hockey. We got every single team playing tonight, which should be a huge
staggered starts too.
Yes,
NHL.
finally.
We like this. We like this.
Finally.
Not 8 games at intermission at the same
Right?
time.
No, I've been advocating for this in football for a while, but hockey's figured it out, so I appreciate that. But we're about 10 games in for every team right now. We've already done like our biggest overreactions after a couple games, so now we have a bit of a bigger sample size, and I'm excited to use that to put together an all-surprise team and an all-disappointment team. We're going to go 3 forwards, 2 defensemen, and a goalie on both sides. The 6 guys who have impressed us the most, the 6 guys who have disappointed us the most. We're going to have some love. We're going to have some hate for these players. So I'm excited to see kind of where everything pans out here and where your guys' heads are at. We're going to start with the surprises. We'll start on the positive side and then get to the negative side. But first up, we're going to start with you, Aidan, get right into it. The first forward on your all-surprise team, who do you have?
Yeah, Seth Jarvis, Carolina Hurricanes. I think last year when he was on the Four Nations team, a lot of people were like, yeah, this guy's really good. He deserves to be on the team. But a lot of people were like, Seth Jarvis on the Four Nations team. Like, oh, I didn't. But he kind of announced himself a little bit being on that team, and then he's taken a step this season where he's, at this point, the best forward, I think, at least offensively, on the Carolina Hurricanes. Aho's also very, very good. But he's doing everything for them. He's scoring on the PK, he's scoring on the power play, he's scoring on even strength. And I think when the when the Olympics come around this year, I think he's probably one of the first 6 or 7 forwards named to that roster, because he is just, I think he's a guy that could score 95 points this year. He could really be right around that number, and he just brings everything. It's everything you love in a hockey player, and he's also just a great personality, and I think he's really coming into his own as like legitimately one of the stars of the league.
Yeah, he's leveled up, right? Like last year when he was on the Four Nations team, it was like, okay, you can see his fit as like this energy 4th line extra guy. And then after the tournament, when you're projecting Olympic rosters, he's one of maybe the first guys you take off. And with his play right now, he's absolutely on this Canadian Olympic
You could
team.
say
There's no way you
could
take him off.
put him on a top line with Connor McDavid, and he would not look out of place. Like a line of Jarvis, McDavid, and Marner would be electric, like a fantastic line. And he might not get that role on the team. Who knows? Like they kind of had something figured out with their top 6 at the end of the Four Nations tournament. But man, Jarvis is really good.
Well, and from the Hurricanes' perspective, they're going to go big game hunting. Like, they have the cap space. They're in this mode where they really want to make a cup final for the first time in the Rod Brindamore era. But I wonder if even internally it's like, okay, Jarvis is leveling up. You know, Stankoven and Jarvis are sort of maturing before our eyes and providing more offense. And then we got Nick Ehlers, who hasn't had the points yet, but if you look at sort of the tape that he's put out there, and then also the underlying numbers, like he's going to pop off at some point. So do they look around and go, not necessarily we're fine, we're not going to go out there and get anything, but like we're probably better than we thought we were going to be coming into the season in terms of like having that finishing ability, having that dynamic quality to their game, which has been so lacking over the years.
And the last thing I'll say about it is like he's just still so young. Like he is just budding and coming into his own. I always forget that he is the guy that the Leafs pick was for
the
Marleau thing, and that's the 2020 draft, right?
Yeah.
The COVID, like the Leafs pick shouldn't have been that high. They just choked it against the Jackets, if we all remember that one.
Yeah, of course.
Fondly, right? And
They were in the draft lottery.
they were right. Remember the little ping pong ball?
Yeah, they almost got
hit the
Lafreniere.
rim?
Yeah.
And that guy stinks. He could be on the all disappointment team. I don't know if he will be, but he could be there. Jarvis, though, heck of a player, and that's definitely on the surprise in a good way team.
Yeah, no, he's been great, and I think too he's kind of like strikes me as like a second coming. I don't know if we've had one really since this guy really did it, but like a bit of a second coming of Brad Marchand. Just the way that he's gritty and scrappy. He'll kill penalties. He'll do whatever. Like we saw it when he was on that Four Nations team. Like that's what his role was. So a guy like that who can also score 95 points, Brad Marchand's like the only guy that comes to mind that has actually.
But
put those
Marchand
numbers
didn't
up.
do score like that until he was like
No.
30s, right?
30s.
Yeah.
So
Late
we're
20s.
talking about it. Yeah,
Young
serious
prime,
player.
Young prime Brad Marchand, not a bad.
Not a bad
Not a
comp.
bad comp,
No,
yeah.
Not a bad
not
comp.
at all. All right, I love that start. On to you, John, with our second forward here on the All Surprise team.
Yeah, let's talk about Emmett Finney, the first liner for the Detroit Red Wings. He's playing with Dylan Larkin and Lucas Raymond right now. And this guy's a 7th-round pick from 2023. Like, his ascent has been pretty phenomenal. And I honestly think, guys, that there's a lot of substance to it. Do I think that he's going to finish, like right now he's tied for second in rookie scoring. Do I think he's going to finish top 3 rookie scoring? Probably not. I think the points will fall off to some extent. But I think if you look at what he brings to the table, you know, drives the net, he finishes checks, he finds kind of quiet areas of the ice. He's got speed, and he's got this sort of defensive structure to him that's going to keep Todd McClellan, the coach there in Detroit, very happy. I just think that it's like he knows who he is, right? And that's very rare in not only a 7th rounder period, but a 7th rounder from 2 years ago who should be, kind of getting his training wheels off in pro right now in the AHL or maybe even the ECHL in a lot of instances. So I like what he's brought to the table, and I think that if you just look at historically the guys coming from that round of the draft, it takes them so much longer. And he seems here and not like fully polished, not fully has figured things out, but he has enough, qualities to his game that are sticky that I think that he's not going anywhere. Like, we saw Nygaard get demoted to the AHL. There's other, Nate Danielson's in the AHL as well, a former first round. He's dealt with some injuries to start the year, but like Emmett Finney, I don't think he's going anywhere. And it's kind of amazing given his draft stock.
Yeah, it's really cool to see. Like, you don't see 7th-round picks come around into the NHL this quickly, basically ever, especially as like a true 17, 18-year-old draft pick. Like, he wasn't like some 20-year-old overage or late round guy and he breaks through. This was a true like 18-year-old, 20-year-old coming in, has barely played in the AHL, coming straight from the WHL. One of the really, really cool stories early on this NHL season where we just don't see late round draft picks break through this quickly ever.
I think, too, speaking to just him being a late rounder, like that's almost what you need for a guy to play this role where he's got no ego. He just lets the other two guys, like Larkin and those guys, cook. He doesn't need his touches or anything. It kind of reminds me of when I know he didn't go as late, but like Zach Hyman when he came up with the Leafs and stuff, and you saw what he got to do in Edmonton. But same idea, where he's not begging for the puck or he's upset about anything because he never had really. He probably never, like both of these guys, I don't know if they expected to be where they're at right now, but I think that's. I'm not going to tell teams to maybe advocate to, get a 6th liner up with no ego on your first line. Like, it'll work perfectly, but I think it's something there to be said about guys behaving that way.
Yeah, and from Finney's perspective, I mean, can he spend 15 years in the top 6 and be the 3rd guy on a line? Maybe, and like that's a great career, right? So it's like, finding that role and really, I guess, diving into it from like a detailed perspective and being valuable to your creative line mates, that goes a long way.
There we go. All right, Seth Jarvis, Emmett Finney. I don't know if this is where we were expecting to find ourselves when the season started, but we got our 2 forwards out of the way. Kyle, you got the last one.
Well, it's called the All-Surprise team for a reason here. And how about this one? Co-leading the NHL in scoring from Utah, Nick Schmaltz. Like, if we even went to Utah specifically and talked about guys on that team we thought might be, like, co-leading the NHL in scoring, like 10 games in, how many guys do you have to get down before you get to Nick Schmaltz? Like, you got Keller, Cooley, Gunther. Like, you're probably talking about 4 or 5 guys. Paterka as well,
Eric Hayden.
Probably 4 or 5 guys until you get to Nick Schmaltz, and yet he's the one that's at the top of the pile, not just in Utah, but co-leading the NHL as a whole. And think about the way we've been talking about Jack Eichel early this season. Nick Schmaltz is right there with him early on this season. He has a point in every game except for one, which, funny enough, was against the Chicago Blackhawks. And so this is a guy that is kind of flown under the radar a lot in recent years, where he's been a super consistent 20 to 23 goal scorer, 55 to like 63 point scorer for like 6 years straight in Arizona and Utah. And now as this Utah team takes or tries to take another step, he's really taken a step as well and was kind of one of the forgotten guys in this top 6. So I love what he's been doing in Utah. It's been really cool to see him level up there as well. And we'll see how long this goes. Obviously, probably not going to lead the NHL in scoring the whole way. But in terms of early season surprises, of all the guys on Utah to co-lead the NHL in scoring right now, certainly did not have Nick Schmaltz at the top of the pile.
Contract year, Nick Schmaltz, man. And
there you
so
go.
Big thing. But I think what's interesting is I kind of thought in the summer that Utah was everyone was saying they're going to go big game hunting kind of thing, and I was like, oh, they need to shell some salary out. Maybe it makes sense to move a guy like Schmaltz to free up a spot to bring in I mean, they did it with Peterka by doing Kesselring and Doan, but that was the guy that sort of seemed like, oh, this new sort of kind of era of Utah coming through with like Peterka and Gunther.
He wasn't the clear fit.
No,
he's a little bit older. He's a UFA coming up.
Center winger mix. Don't really know exactly what he's. Now it's like, well, is Utah's not trading this guy, and he's. No. But like, also, what's he gonna get paid all of a sudden, right? Like he's somewhere in the 5s right now. If he has a season where he puts up 85 points, which is right there, like right with the way he's playing, like someone's gonna give this guy $8.5-9 million on the market, knowing that he is probably a 60-point guy. But I mean, he's playing a heck of crazy hockey right now.
So good, and it's such a good fit with, like, you do need that guy that's a little bit older to play with all those young guys to facilitate a bit better and stuff. And I think that's like super valuable to what he's doing to that Utah team. That's a fun team. That's a really fun team.
Extremely fun
That's
team.
fun.
It's a
They're moving up.
mammothly fun team.
Okay.
Is that even a word?
We'll go with it. We'll go with it.
Mammothly.
All right, we got our surprise forwards out of the way. I've got the first defenseman here, and it's time to give some flowers to a guy who's been doing it for a while. Mike Matheson. This Edmonton, Montreal Canadiens team tied for fourth in the league in points right now, and they bring in Noah Dobson. Lane Hudson has an incredible year last year. Like all of a sudden, they've got like these two perennial defensemen. But it's Mike Matheson that's leading them in time on ice by almost 2 minutes. He's 18th in defenseman points right now. He's like +7 or 8 right now. Like he's doing everything for the Montreal Canadiens. And for a team that is so young like they are and having so much early success, like this is the exact guy that you need. And honestly, like a big reason as to why they're playing so well. Because he gives them the opportunity to split up Dobson and Hudson and take some pressure off both of them by playing that first line with Dobson. He's the first penalty killer. Like he's on the get power play minutes and stuff. Like he's been incredible. And what was the stat? Let me look at the stat very quickly. Only 2 players in the AHL have more time on ice than him right now and a better plus-minus, and it's Cale Makar and Josh Morrissey. So is that any good?
Good company, yeah.
Mike Matheson being in that company is insane. But yeah, I think a lot of the Montreal success is obviously credited to how electric like their young players are, and especially their offense. But you don't get to where you're at, and they're not going to continue being successful without a Mike Matheson on the back end. So integral role in Montreal's all the success they've had so far this year.
He's kind of the adult in the room, right? If you think about it, like
yeah.
like literally, but also just like if you think about his personality seems to be pretty like straightforward and just I'm a serious person, but also on the back end, I mean he's by far the oldest guy out there, but he's still contributing at a high level. And then you look at the forward group, it's like, you got Brendan Gallagher and Josh Anderson as their older guys in their 30s. And it's like, are they really contributing that much at this point? So Matheson seems like a no-brainer as an extension candidate here with the Canadiens. He's on an expiring contract. He's been underpaid for a while here. But if I'm Kent Hughes, like, obviously you have to be careful in terms of how much you're giving a guy who's already 31, but if you're locking up your core, like he should be a part of that group, even though he doesn't technically like fit into that group of like from 20 to 25. Like you need the older brother, so to speak.
Yeah, the reports that were coming out, I think the last week, where it's more of like a term versus dollar figure thing. Like you just can't give a guy like 7 or 8 years when you've got this young core button in Montreal. But I mean, he's playing fantastic for the Habs right now.
And like I think he knows that too. Like in terms of character and stuff, and he's been there doing it for a long time. Like I don't think he's gonna be like, I need every single dollar you guys have. Like I want to be on this team and I want to be a part of this team's success for a long time coming. And yeah, I mean a perfect guy to have, and he's been a huge surprise to me. So I'd like to see it. You got another defenseman for us.
Guys, we're being really positive and nice right now, and I'm gonna continue to be positive and nice. But I'm also gonna say like I'm gonna just say Matthew Schaefer, and we can kind of just move on. Enough's been said about this guy. He's just playing like historic for an 18-year-old, and we could get into it and talk about this guy for 40 minutes, but we don't need to.
We tried to the other week.
We did. We literally did a couple weeks ago, and he's incredible. He's doing historic stuff, and I don't know, man.
What a stud.
What a stud.
Oh my gosh.
All right.
He's so much fun to watch.
Next. Don't just move on. Next. Let's go.
Can I say one thing?
Here it is.
Like we're all enamored by his skating, and rightfully so, but I feel like it's also his mentality is like so aggressive. He's so active and aggressive in all 3 zones. It's like he's almost a one-of-one player in the NHL right now. And who knows? Maybe he'll like tone it down as things go along, or he'll get end up on the wrong end of a highlight and Patrick Waugh will sit him down and tell him, stop doing that, whatever. But like he's must see TV in part because he's always involved in everything, and then rushes, zone entries, zone exits. Like he's just all over the place all the time.
It's not often a first overall pick can make an all surprise team 10 games into his
But he's
career,
been that good.
but he has been that good. So yeah, I agree. Matthew Schaefer is a lock for this team. Rounding us out here, John, you've got our goalie. Your most surprising goalie.
Similar to Emmett Finney in terms of like I really like the journey here. I like the perspective. Alex Lyon, undrafted 32-year-old journeyman. He's played for like 5 or 6 NHL
32,
teams.
man.
Yeah, he's been around.
He's
I
been
just thought
around.
He was young.
I know.
I'm not a Lion knower, I guess.
923 save percentage behind the Sabres. That's not easy to do.
No.
Sport Logic tracks quality starts. He has 6 out of his 7 appearances. So, what more could you ask for on that end? His goal saved above expected or is in a positive.
Is it for real though?
Shade.
Like when's the Buffalo bounce coming?
Well, I don't know if it's for real. Like honestly, like I'm surprised he's even gone on 7 games at this pace. Because when Luukkonen went down, I'm like, oh, this is real trouble for the Sabres. But he sort of held the fort. So yeah, I mean, if I'm projecting forward, I think there's a regression happening here with Lyon and also the Sabres, who aren't exactly like rocketing up the standings, but they've avoided disaster so far this season, which is in itself an accomplishment for them. So I just like this story of Lyon kind of like being thrust into the spotlight, a ton of shots against, a ton of quality shots against, and he's held his own.
Yeah, respect. All right. So that's our all surprise team. I think I feel great about those 6 guys, to be honest. They've all really shocked us.
Yeah, it was really nice, guys. It was really nice.
Now let's turn the page and get negative. Me and Kyle are going to be
time.
pioneering this with 2 picks apiece. Yeah, it's time to get in your hate bag, and let's see what comes out of this. You've got our first forward, Kyle, on the all disappointment team 10 games in.
Yeah, there's nothing more hater than going Sam Bennett right off the bat, right? Sam Bennett. When Sasha Barkov went down with injury, I think the expectation was Anton Lundell would step up into that role, but then also Sam Bennett needed to prove that he was this multi-million-dollar player that can step up when that top-line center went down, or at least be more of that guy in the regular season with more kind of expectations on his shoulders. And so far this season, it has not been that. When you look at the 1 goal, 2 points, he's like a -9 this season. The actual results have been pretty terrible. There are some underlying numbers that are a bit more positive in terms of the XG when he's on the ice. He has like a 900 PDO, which is like 10 points below average, not even like above average. He's got like a 3% on ice shooting percentage. He's getting like 850 goaltending on the ice. There's a lot of reasons why the numbers are as bad as they are, but the reality is the Panthers need him to be better than what he is right now. And when you talk about guys like Seth Jarvis kind of solidifying their spots on the Canadian Olympic team, Bennett is a guy that we all expect to be on that team because of his play in the playoffs most recently. But the Olympics are different than the Four Nations in terms of the physicality, and he is a fourth-line guy who was on the roster bubble. So if he is a guy that is having 1 goal, 2 points through 10 games, and this kind of continues for another 3-4 weeks, the conversation around him on the Olympic team changes, I think, as this start to the season becomes just kind of his season. So he's really got to turn it around here soon to move from the all-disappointment team back to at least some reasonable expectations to keep his spot on what we expect to be his spot on the Olympic team.
Man, the other top dog in Florida too, Sam Reinhart's not off too.
Yeah, I considered him as well. 4 goals. He's at least got the goals there, but you're right, where the top scorer shouldn't be Brad Marchand on that Florida.
No, not at all.
It's so funny to me too, like when the contract talks were going on, and especially over here in Toronto, where like everyone, like we could tell you, oh, this guy, he's not going to have the best regular season, just wait for the playoffs. But I kind of didn't really believe it because I was like, he was so electric last playoffs.
Yeah.
And lo and behold.
He does it, man. He's been doing that his whole career, though.
Yeah,
He's
what he
just
does.
like snoozes to start seasons, figures it out, and then just goes crazy in the playoffs. And you're like, is this guy like a top 10
Yeah,
center?
There is a certain bar you have to hit in the regular season, though, especially when Barkov is down. If Barkov's there,
and especially
and you
because
can
they just
justify
paid
it
him, too. They just gave him the bag. So
Yeah.
figure it out, Benny.
Yeah, I feel like that could be a recurring theme throughout his career. He'll always have the great playoffs, and then he's first forward picked on the all disappointment team.
If he does that in the playoffs consistently every single year, the Panthers will take it.
Oh, they got to make it, though.
Me.
So
That's the big thing.
Yeah.
All right, Sam Bennett off the list. My first pick at forward here, Matvei Michkov. He has been
spicy.
bad. He has been bad. 3 points in 8 games, and I think the big reason here, I mean, aside from the fact that he's got 3 points in 8 games and he's like still on their first power play and stuff, but you look at that draft class to begin with. Connor Bedard's got 8 points. Leo Carlson, Adam Fantilli, Will Smith's been up. Zach Benson's been great. Like a lot of really talented guys who are figuring it out now this far into their career. And then you look at the guys who are around his age, the same experience, like a Frank Nazar, Carter Gauthier, like again, guys who are figuring it out early in their career. And after what was such a great season last year with like 63 points, to see him take this step back this early in, and like they were saying he was out of shape before season and stuff, just there's no good press coming out of Flyers camp right now for Matvei Michkov. And the fact that he's on the third line, he's playing with Trevor Zegras, which I do think helps him. And like there was a clip the other day of him kind of mentoring him on the bench, which is nice to see. But like if you're a Flyers fan, you can't be thinking that Bobby Brink and Noah Cates were going to be playing over him and playing second line behind a guy who had so much upside and so much promise after last season. So I think he's for sure. I'm not expecting him to be point per game at this point in his career, especially on a Flyers team. But he's like 8th in ice time amongst all forwards while playing on the power play. You expect a little bit more out of a guy who had so much to offer last season. And I think easily on my oldest disappointment team.
He's so critical to what they're building there in Philadelphia. Like you can draw the parallel to Demidov in Montreal in terms of like this high-end Russian that takes your team from here to here if he really hits, which we're seeing with Demidov. So, yeah, it's disappointing, especially because Rick Tocchet, new coach, you would think that, like, okay, Michkov comes to camp in good shape. You know, his ice time actually goes in the right direction. It's now on the downturn. So if you're a Flyers fan, you're kind of looking around going, like, this is what we signed up for with drafting this kid so high.
Yeah, to be fair, Tocchet isn't exactly notorious for bringing the best out of his talent.
He's not the warm and fuzzy all the time.
He's been dealt like an all-time bad hand with his coaches.
Towards Tocchet? Like, is that...
It's about as bad as it gets as a young guy, but I still, you just expect more, and maybe him and Zegras can figure it out. I hope that they can.
I mean, Zegras has been good, and
it's a really fun
I'm not
pair.
like too worried about Michkov just because at the end of the day, like, it's 10 games, and if he came in a little out of shape, like, well, he'll be in shape by midseason. Yeah. And he'll probably have a good back half or something like that. But yeah, it has been a stinky start for him.
I worry for the Flyers fans looking at some of seeing what Will Smith's doing right now, just seeing what the guys that went around him, like, you got to be wishing that you had.
No, I can't believe you're like really
I'm out on
sitting
him.
there. You're out on Mitch.
Out on him.
Man, he had a great year last year.
Mind you, these guys went before him, but Connor Bedard, Leo Carlson, Adam Fantilli, Will Smith. Are you if you can?
They went before him.
They went before him, but like you're taking all of them.
I mean, he had a better season than probably all of them last year. Yeah, like
right.
I mean, he might have been right around the same mark as Bedard, but like
I've seen enough.
It's seen enough. All right,
I've seen enough. Hey, yeah. I'm hating.
Yeah, you're hating. You're hating.
This is the oldest
full hater mode.
That's what we're doing. But you've got the third forward here. So who's your?
This is a guy I love to hate on. You guys know that. That's just the captain of the Toronto Maple Leafs, the empty net merchant, Austin Matthews. I mean, man, he's got 8 points in 9 games. I think 3 or 4 of them are empty netters, and I don't know. Matthews hasn't been like a negative on the ice by any means, but you're just expecting a guy like your captain to step up and to like lead your team at the start of a tumultuous season with Marner leaving, and it's a broken record right at this point. Like, what are they going to do? Like, who do they need to bring in to play on the top line with Matthews and Nyes? It's like, man, if you're Austin Matthews and you're the second best player in the game, which we talked about 2 years ago, like, man, it shouldn't matter if you're playing with Nyes and like a rookie or Nyes and Domi. Like, this is a guy that was just fine a couple years ago playing with Bertuzzi and Domi on the top line. Like, he's got to figure it out, and he will figure it out, I think. But these sleepy starts the Leafs have had the past few years, I think, as the other teams at the Atlantic are catching up to the top teams, you can't really afford that sleepy start, because then you're going to be playing 82 games of really intense hockey all year, and you're not just floating your way to 100 points. I think Matthews is obviously still a great player, but I wonder if we're still in the realm of him being a 60-goal scorer. Like, does he still have that in his bag? Like, maybe, but it just doesn't feel like it right now. He just doesn't feel the same, like, there's not the same danger when he has the puck on his stick like that it was a couple years ago. And, I mean, he's playing my Calgary Flames Tuesday night, and he's probably going to rip 3 past Dustin Wolf, and I'm going to look like an absolute moron numbnuts. But even if he does, point still stands because the Flames stink. So, I don't know. Matthews, Figure it out, bud.
It's a bit harsh, but I'm actually kind of fine with it because the expectations, right? Like there's levels to this, and Matthews should be at that highest level, especially with all the talk about the Marner stuff coming into the year. And it hasn't been that automatic goal scorer. You don't feel that same danger when the puck is on his stick as it was in that 69 goal season. And so when it's like 5 games into the season and the head coach is already criticizing the top line or frustrated with the top line and trying multiple different things. Like there was one game where there was like 6 different combinations on the top line for the Leafs. And it's like, as you said, where it's Matthews, it should be you put anybody on the line and it works because of the caliber of player that he is. And so far this season, it hasn't been. The underlying numbers are there to an extent in terms of the chance creation and things like that. But again, a couple years ago, a lot of those chances that he's getting, he's putting in the back of the net. And that's a bit of the concern where it is the point where is he still that automatic 60-goal guy when he's healthy? I haven't seen that early on this season either.
I want to ask this question. Olympics coming up in February. Is he still the captain of Team USA?
I thought you say, is he on the team?
No, he's on the team. But is he still the captain of Team USA? Or are we talking about the C being on Jack Eichel's jersey or Quinn Hughes' jersey? Like, he didn't win at the Four Nations. I think they're well within their rights to give it to someone else if they wanted to. What do you guys think?
I mean, Quinn Hughes makes more sense to me in terms of like the personality and just sort of like his impact on every shift. Like to me, that even made more sense. Four Nations.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like they set the precedent with Four Nations giving it to Austin, so it's kind of difficult to handicap that.
I wouldn't, but I think it will be. Like I don't think they're going to.
To me, the only way he doesn't have the C on his jersey is if Patrick Kane's on the roster.
Interesting.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. We're through our forwards. On to the defenseman. John, you're kicking us off. Most disappointing defenseman to you?
Yeah, I'll keep it fairly brief here. I mean, the Minnesota Wild are in one right now, 3-5-2, a -11 goal differential. Their captain, Jared Spurgeon, is my pick here, where when he's been on the ice at 5-on-5, they've scored 1 goal. The opposition scored 11. Like, that's horrendous for a guy who's known for his defensive play. I should say two-way play because he is good at with the puck as well. But you've got Bouillon, this young player still trying to figure it out at even strength. You've got Brock Faber, getting worked to the bone in terms of his usage, and then somehow Spurgeon is the worst off of them in terms of the start here, and like the underlying numbers aren't pretty either. Like 41% expected goal share. Like it's been a real tough start for Spurgeon, and he's sort of like embodies what's going on in Minnesota, where they've had some like big blowouts where they've been on the wrong end of it.
And the concern for me is with his age and some of the injury history recently, is the cliff kind of fallen off for him, right? Where if he's a bit younger, you can say, okay, bad start, he'll figure it out. But at his age, he's like 36 years old now. He missed most of the season 2 years ago. He's battled some injury stuff. And at this point of his career, has the bottom just fallen out for him where he is just kind of this guy now where you have to shelter him a bit more, fall down the depth chart, and how much does that change the outlook for the Wild? I'm pretty concerned about that situation right now.
It's a little harsh on the Wild here, but could you guys just like ever even picture them being good?
There's a way. They've got, but
define good. I guess.
Like
it's difficult.
Winning a round in the playoffs, I don't see that.
Winning 2 rounds in the playoffs, going to a conference final.
When you have Kaprizov, yeah.
But this core around Kaprizov is going to float around this and just follow in the trail of Colorado, Dallas, and Winnipeg until that Kaprizov's making $17 million at 34 years old.
Yeah.
And they have a lot of these guys locked up, right? Like even like the Hartmans and the Felinos, like they're tied to this core. Very.
I get it's hard in Minnesota to like pull players there, and it's hard to get them to stay. And Spurgeon is a good player, and they've drafted really well, I think. But I don't know, man.
Like for me, the backbone of it was having that elite top 4 with Spurgeon in there as like an elite top pairing defenseman who's like a fringe Team Canada guy that he was like 3-4 years ago. And they gave Vegas a very tough test in the first round last year. That gave me at least a little bit of hope going forward. But if the bottom has fallen out for Spurgeon, it becomes a lot tougher. Like they need like a David Jiricek to step up. They need Zeev Bouillon to be that guy in the top 4. And if Spurgeon isn't that guy anymore, those guys have to accelerate their timeline a lot quicker than
100%.
Probably they were hoping for.
Yeah, like Brodin's also dealt with a bunch of injuries. So it's like these like stalwarts, the like to go back to Matisz and like the adults in the room in terms of the blue line, like they're seemingly on the decline, and that's not good.
Absolutely. Kyle, you got one more defenseman for us here?
Yeah, Evan Bouchard here of the Edmonton Oilers, of course. He had a brutal start to the season in terms of the point production. He's turned that around recently, but it's not even that I really care about as much in terms of like the on-ice goal differential, the lack of production compared to what we expect from him, because the underlying numbers, again, are kind of there in terms of the XG share and some of the things like that. Like, it's kind of typical for what we expect from Evan Bouchard. The Oilers have had these slower starts before. I'm not concerned about any of that. The issue for me is the two big, just kind of mistake-prone error games that we've seen from Evan Bouchard early on this season. The one against, I believe, the Islanders, where he had 3 errors directly lead to goals this past weekend against Seattle. He has 2 more errors in transition directly lead to goals. And for Evan Bouchard, it's less about what that means for Edmonton and more what it means for the Olympic roster, where Evan Bouchard, on paper, should absolutely be in Team Canada's top 6, let alone on the roster. But that's not as simple as it is. There's a lot more to it in terms of, can you trust this player in big moments? What does this player do for you in terms of what he can bring versus what he might give back in certain situations? And when already this season, against 2 not great teams on paper, at least in terms of the Islanders and Kraken, he's been having some pretty glaring errors early on this season, when it's already a tighter window for Team Canada to make their decisions to bring him back onto the roster. Everything that he's done in the playoffs, for the most part, should have him on that Team Canada roster, but those 2 big mistake-prone games really has me in concern for what that means for his Team Canada future here coming up for February. So the bad start in terms of the point production, I'm not concerned about. The on-ice goal differential, the plus-minus, I'm not concerned about that either. For Evan Bouchard specifically, all he had to do was just have a clean start to the season where he doesn't have any of these games where he has the puck blow up on his stick and it results in goals against. And in October, he's already had 2 of those games where he's been burned in transition, been burned on turnovers, and I don't think that poses well for his Team Canada chances anymore.
Man, I'm in a group chat with a couple Oilers fans, which is just a haunted place for me. But like, nobody gets clipped harder than Evan Bouchard. Nobody has like just a more disaster class reel. Who's the NBA player that just has Brandon Knight just getting?
Yeah, Brandon Knight, JaVale McGee.
Yeah,
maybe.
just man,
giveaways or
just like the like Shaq
You know,
in
it's
a
bad
fool
when
moments.
it's
Like
JaVale McGee is the comp you're getting.
I saw highlight tape on Twitter yesterday. It was Evan Bouchard highlights.
no, and it's don't get me wrong. He's like super talented. His underlying numbers are great, but it's just the give a meter just feels like it's just he's just. I get like the Oilers been to 2 straight Cup finals. So they could care less about hockey in November, man. Like it's not that serious.
We've seen
for
it.
them.
Yeah, we
it's
talked
past
about
2 years,
yeah.
but like, oh man, like they defend these guys like tooth and nail. Or is that the saying? I think so. But like, I watch this guy and I'm just like, you stink. You're not that good. You shouldn't be on Team Canada. If you're not running the first power play, you have no business being on Team Canada. And he's not running the first power play when you got Kale McCarr. So keep him away from Team Canada because you have no need to have that guy throwing muffins down the center of the ice.
All of Edmonton doesn't like him right now. Imagine all of Canada watching.
Oh, Edmonton fans still love him. They just pick on Darnell Nurse because he can say his numbers are worse.
The disappointing part to me is, we all knew Evan Bouchard was error prone. Like that's what he was like as a prospect. Like, it's no surprise that he will make some mistakes with the puck. But it's the fact that he's going in the wrong direction. You think he's going to start cleaning that up. It's like, no, it's actually getting worse or staying the same. So, yeah, whether it's Team Canada or the Oilers, like there's got to be some concern there, some disappointment in terms of like, this is an area where he's never going to be perfect, but should he be improving? I think so.
Yeah, like you mentioned there, the disappointment part for me is if there's any time for him to clean up that side of his game, is coming off of back-to-back Stanley Cup final losses and going into a year where he has to prove that he is capable of making those right choices to make Team Canada, and it has been probably the worst month of his career.
He's like 25, I think, but in my mind, he plays like a guy that was really good at 25, but is now 34 years old.
That's what I was
like
he plays like a beer league player.
Yeah,
and he plays
a nasty beer league player,
a good beer leaguer. But like it's true, the give a care and something that can't even be statistically tracked. But I've seen enough Oilers games this season. He blows up some power plays by trying to get a pass through or he'll just dump and chase sometimes without the chase. There's been a few times where where Evan Bouchard gets the puck at the point and the puck's back in their end, and McDavid and Draisaitl are getting off. So something to keep an eye on for anyone on an Evan Bouchard hate watch.
And yet, despite all of that, he's like an all-time historic scoring defenseman in the playoffs.
Yeah.
He's like the best.
If
right?
he can just clean up those just mind-numbing errors.
That's all it is.
You're talking about
That's
like
all it is.
if he wasn't like that in his own end, you'd have him the same conversation as Hughes and Makar probably, just based off production.
Pretty close, yeah.
He'd be up there.
He'd be up there. All right, last thing rounding out both of these lists here. On the disappointing side, we have the goaltender, and I've got it. And I have mostly Linus Ullmark, but I kind of have Senators goalies in general because the other guy that's been in there, Levi Marilainen.
Oh, good job,
Got
Levi.
it right. Almost has the same
said your
spelling
name.
as my name. Yeah. They've both been really bad. Marilainen I'll start with him quickly because he's only played 2 games, but he stopped 26 of 28 last night in a nice 7-2 win, and he's still 4th in worst goals against, and 4th worst in save percentage. So that says everything you need to know. He got lit up by the Sabres. So it's not like they can fall back and do a little Andrew Hammond with him, maybe. Shout out to Andrew Hammond and the Senators.
Hammer.
I was not expecting
Yeah, I
Hammer.
did not
Andrew
look back
Hammond.
up
They
today.
don't have an Andrew Hammond to fall back on because their backup is also really bad. But Linus Ullmark, just for a Sens team who has kind of struggled to score a little bit this year, no Brady Tkachuk, like they're really right in the middle of the pack. This is a playoff caliber team, but they need good goaltending to get there, or at least to wait until the offense that's not named Shane Pinto picks up. And Linus Ullmark's been pretty disaster. Like it's not been great for him. He's played a lot, so I'll give him credit for that. But in terms of goalies who are starters, like with 5 starts, he's 4th lowest save percentage amongst all those guys. He's 2nd in goals against amongst the same bunch of guys, and he's 9th in the lowest. The wording here is weird, but goals saved above expected.
Yes.
He's on the other side of that.
Yeah.
The worst.
9th
mark.
worst across the
When you
league.
see the graphic, his thing is a dark red.
It's -3. He's allowed more goals than he actually
not
should have
good.
saved, which
Yes,
is not
not
good.
great.
So again, for a Senators team that could really, really use some good goaltending, like when they score 4 goals against the Sabres and lose 8-4. That sucks, and they've had a couple games this year where they've scored 4 or 3 goals, where you expect a good goaltending performance can get you that win, and they just haven't gotten it. So the tandem, mostly Linus Ullmark, but the tandem of Senators goalies is my biggest disappointment. So there we have it. We've got 12 players there. Our biggest surprises, biggest disappointments. I feel pretty good about it. I don't know about you guys. I like where we're at, and it'd be fun to see where this list, if there's any guys who maybe flip flop or do a changing of the guard here by the end of the season. So we've got that out of the way. We have one more thing to get to, though. It's our first time doing it. We're 4 episodes in, and we haven't done a top shelf trivia.
Ooh.
So I'm excited for this. I'm excited to see how you guys fare on this. This was a huge staple last year, so we're finally getting into it. This is top shelf trivia presented by Enterprise. It's a quick hitter for you, and I'm going to have each of you guys give your own answer because there's 3 answers here. 3 players so far, about 10 games in, have contributed to over 50% of their team's goals so far this season.
Wow.
Goals or assists on over half of the goals that their team has scored. We'll start with you, Aidan. Can you guys each get all 3 players?
So I'm going to go with the guy, team scored a lot last night, I think leading the league in points, turning back the clock, Gino Malkin.
Gino Malkin is not on the list.
Ooh.
Pittsburgh scored a little bit too much. All right.
Shane Pinto.
Shane Pinto's also not on the list.
Wow, over 2.
start.
Not good. Macklin Celebrini.
Macklin Celebrini
shout,
is
good
on the
shout.
list. He's first on the list. 55% of all Sharks goals Celebrini's been a part of. And it's
Okay.
fun to see the rest of this list. It's fun to see his name on there with these other 2 guys.
Ooh.
Okay,
Little
so
hint.
That is a bit of a hint.
That is a bit of a hint.
thinking Jack Eichel.
Jack Eichel's here.
That
Jack
was
Eichel's
my
here. I think he's got
next
16 points on
Yeah.
31 goals for the Vegas Golden Knights. So we've got 2 of them. Last one here for John, Celebrini and Eichel.
Boy. I'm gonna go Mikko Rantanen, even though I don't feel good.
Mikko
about it.
Rantanen was close.
Okay.
Mikko Rantanen was close. The Stars have scored a little bit too much, but it's not the worst guess.
feel like
We
I got
still
that.
have
I feel
Kyle
like-
with the chance to win this.
That's tricky. See, the hint about it being like a top guy makes me go away from like the Nick Schmaltz that we talked
Yeah.
about. But
Right,
I'm
yeah.
still gonna say it because we had it in the show, Nick Schmaltz.
Nick Schmaltz isn't a bad pull.
Okay.
It's not him, though. They've just scored so much.
That's
as a
what I
whole.
figured.
It's hard for him to get in on every one of those.
Team on fire right now, player on fire right now, Jack Hughes.
Not Jack Hughes either.
Oh, I thought.
Not Jack Hughes either. This team's not on fire.
Oh,
This player is. It's one of those. It's similar to Macklin Celebrini.
I'm gonna go Tage Thompson. Don't feel great about
Not
it.
Tage
Oh,
Thompson.
Tage Thompson is where I was thinking.
Not Tage Thompson. You guys are over. This is like he's probably top 5 in scoring right now.
Top 5
It means
scoring.
nothing to
Yeah,
me.
that-
to be
yeah,
Given
completely
every hint
honest
I can
with
give you, he's one of the best scorers in the league.
Nate McKinnon.
Not Nate McKinnon. No.
Connor McDavid.
Not Connor McDavid.
Leon Draisaitl.
No.
All right, hit us with it.
All right, yeah, throwing the towels.
Tapping
Express.
out.
It's Kirill Kaprizov.
Oh,
yeah, fair
I
enough.
thought about him at one point, but I'm like, has he
Uh,
put up that many points?
14 points, and the
Okay.
Wild have only scored 27 goals. So,
Oh,
yikes.
yeah, a bit of
Yeah.
a disappointment.
Goldie's got to be close to there as well, right?
Yeah,
He's
got
up there as
12 or
well.
12.
But yeah, top shelf trivia. There you go. So 2 for 3. I'm expecting bigger
Passing
things.
grade.
Yeah.
Passing grade.
You're right. You're right. Next time we bring that around, but that's almost all the time we have. One announcement to make. This is Aidan's last show.
Yep.
It is.
This is Aidan's last show. He'll be departing from Top Shelf. So for the last season and a bit now, he's been a key member here. Everyone in the comments, be sure to go and don't give him any hate today. He's got enough
No,
throughout
I'll take the hate. That's
throughout
great.
the years. But whatever you want to say, give it up for Aidan. It's been a pleasure to have you on hosting.
Absolute
Thanks,
pleasure.
fellas.
And now as a guest. So yeah, keep an eye out for whatever he's got up his sleeve moving forward.
We'll see what happens.
We'll
Less
see where it
Flames
goes.
talk on this show, though. I think pretty.
Yeah, I
comfortable
feel like yeah, people won't have to listen to me ramble about the worst team in the
Yes,
league.
finally, no more Dustin Wolf, no more Nazem Kadri. They're all out. We're never gonna
Jonathan
bring them
Huberdeau trades.
back. Rasmus Anderson. I think we've done
Most
3 episodes
tantalizing
on
team
him.
in the league right now.
You know it.
Craig Conroy holds the cards.
There you go. But yeah, for all the guys, for everyone in the production room, Adrian and Zach, thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Top Shelf presented by Enterprise. We'll be back next Tuesday. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you then.